but a lovely portico on this doorway here. A place called King's Court at the top of the Shambles. But the Archbishop of York is very much a senior figure, and I say he's the second churchman in the country. I'm just going to give us a vertical shot of the door there, because it's just so. And I do enjoy in an evening just taking a bit more time. Yes, Fraser, the first is Canterbury, second is York. And funny enough, there was a big argument when, of course, before Henry VIII changes. I'll just show you the signs. I'm not sure I've shown you this for a while, so for those that like to. It wasn't determined that Canterbury was going to be first. It was actually up for grabs, because it only became an issue once Henry VIII had basically divorced us from the Catholic Church. We've become we've got Anglican faith, the Church of England and so forth. And actually, early on, York was more important. And the reason for that is because when Henry converted us to the Protestant faith, central to the Protestant faith was the idea that everyone should be able to read the scriptures. So consequently, you needed Bibles in English. And there were no Bibles in English in this country, for the sheer reason that had you owned one, you could have been burned at the stake as a heretic. So they had to lay their hands very, very quickly on a series of English Bibles. Didn't live at Lambeth Palace. Lambeth Palace is the home of the Archbishop of Canterbury, yes. That's right, Paul. It's down at Southwark, isn't it, on the River Thames. So in order to get a viable copy of the English Bible, they have to go to Belgium. And a chap called Miles Coverdale is the leader of a group of formerly York-based translators that have translated the Latin Bible into English. So the first version of the Bible in English that's adopted by Henry and the Protestants is written, or at least translated, by a bunch of guys from York. So at that point in time, York was very much in the box seat to be the senior partner. You didn't need one, of course, because when we had the Pope, they were both equal. They both played the role of a cardinal, as you might say. So there was no issue with who was the senior churchman. It was only when Henry creates himself as the head of the church that we needed one. And so there was a lot of machinations that went on, and York lost out. But early on, it looked like York was going to be the number one. But as I say, Canterbury stamped all over that. But it's worth remembering that Thomas Wolsey, Cardinal Wolsey, was the Archbishop of York, not of Canterbury. And of course, we know what a powerful, influential guy he was. So until, of course, it came to an end, didn't he? Because he refused or wasn't able to get Henry out of his marriage with Catherine of Aragon. But a lot of politics. So, there's always this thing in history, which we're so careful of, that we don't think about historical inevitability. In other words, things happen because they were meant to happen. Often things happen just because of the way things collided. Events, dear boy, is it Harold Macmillan?